Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to make an argument for why it is so much better to start your business when you're young, when you're in your early 20s, rather than when you're later on in your career, when you're 40, 45, 50 years old. And the thesis of this argument is that your chances of being really successful in a big way, being part of a big world-changing business that could be worth 10 million, 100 million, even $1 billion is dependent in large part to the amount of opportunities you're able to capitalize on. And you don't have direct control over when and where these opportunities present themselves, but you can control your preparedness for when you receive them. And the thing is that when it comes to truly big businesses, these businesses are generally not the type you can just start on your laptop at home. These are businesses that are unique, interesting, new, innovative ideas, and they usually involve co-founders, different people at a high level, bringing different ingredients and elements to the table. If you look at the unicorn companies, the vast majority involve co-founders, not solo founders. So to bring this back into my perspective a little bit, one of the reasons I'm building this agency now and scaling it up is to give myself the credibility to one day be a part of a truly world-changing business. And yes, this agency I'm building now will give me a large degree of financial abundance while I build it. It'll give me a great lifestyle as I build it. I'm going to enjoy building it, but ultimately it is a stepping stone into the next big thing. And I want to talk about why it's important to start young and how traditional advice is wrong when it comes to this topic. So let's jump into my computer and look at a very simple timeline here. Now, right here, we see the traditional path, and these numbers represent years of age. So starting at 20, assuming in both scenarios here that we retire at the age of 70 and enjoy retirement. So the traditional path talks about starting business when you're about 45 years old. If you talk to university professors, most parents, schools, and you say, hey, I want to run a business, they're going to say, cool, go and get 20, 30 years of experience. After that, you're going to be able to start a business. And that's the traditional path. Now, if we look at what happens here, let's fill out the rest of this timeline. So when you're 45, let's say that's when you start the business. Let's say in your early 20s, that's when you're going to get your first real job. Maybe it's at a bank, an accounting firm, sales, whatever it is, first real job. So then you're gaining experience. Now, I think it's safe to assume that it's going to take between, I'm going to say 1 to 5 years before the business you start is successful. And that's going to depend on a lot of things. If you're skilled / a little bit lucky, it might take 1 year. If you're like most people, it's going to take 5 years from the time you start your business to the point where it's successful, financially abundant, etc. So if you start your business at 45, you're going to be a credible entrepreneur at about 50. Now, if we look at the window of time you are going to be alive to receive big opportunities, you have a 20-year window to be a part of big opportunities. So that's option one. Now I want to compare this to the new model, and we're going to call, people have called this model different things. Tim Ferriss famously called it the new rich in his book, The 4-Hour Workweek. We have the internet entrepreneur, et cetera, et cetera. Now, let me copy over this number line. Same years. But this time, instead of in your early 20s getting a job, in your early 20s, you're going to start your first business. Okay? Now, start first business. Now, let's just assume, to be conservative in this illustration, that it's going to take you a little bit longer to achieve success with your business. Let's just say it takes 3 to 8 years. One could argue that the 23-year-old or 22-year-old is going to have a harder time starting a business than the experienced 45-year-old. However, you could also make the counter argument that the person in the early 20s has less ingrained limited beliefs and they might actually do better. But in this example, I want to be conservative and say that in this model, it's going to take 3 to 8 years for this person to be successful. So start the first business in their early 20s. Now, let's just say that they start at 22. It takes 8 years for them to have a successful business, their first one. So they have credibility when they're 30 years old. Now, the amazing thing that happens here is that when we look at this person's opportunity window, it's gone from 20 years to 40 years. So my argument is that scenario B results in 2x the chances of being a part of a capital big business. And the reason for this is simply that you have double the amount of time where you're in a position to capitalize on those big opportunities. And these opportunities are going to come in unpredictable ways. It could come from a guy or girl you meet at the gym. It could come from someone you sit next to on a plane. It could come from a friend of a friend. If we use the plane example and we talk about the person on the traditional path, let's just say this person is 38 years old and meets a person on a plane who talks about this amazing idea they have. And in that case, this 38-year-old senior accountant at a firm is not going to be looked at as a viable business partner in that business because they don't have the skills yet. Having said that, person B at 38 years old already has 10 years of running a business. It's already successful. They will be viewed as a viable candidate to partner on this big opportunity. So my argument is that put yourself in situation B. Double your chances of being part of a truly big world-changing business by building your credibility early. And in the game of entrepreneurship, the only way to build your credibility is through proven result, is through actually starting a business, which is why I think for a first business, it's great and encouraged to start it on your own. Do it yourself. You don't need business partners to build an agency to 6 or 7 figures. But when you want to build a business to 8, 9 figures, it helps to have really smart business partners, and it helps for the idea to be innovative, unique, with a truly great product market fit. So I'm gonna leave this video here, guys. You know, there's a lot more reasons why I think it's good to start a business young, but this is one that I want to talk about today, in that in addition to a better lifestyle, more financial freedom earlier, it also sets you up to have a higher career peak because it doubles the time that you are an eligible candidate to be a part of those big business opportunities. If you guys like this content, drop me a comment below. Let me know what you're working on. And in this channel, I'm going to keep documenting my journey. Right now, we're scaling my digital marketing agency from mid 6 figures to 7 figures. Looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care.